Hey guys, Tarzan here, and it's going to be a quick video about some class tuning that was just announced by Blizzard that's going to take effect tomorrow during the server maintenance on January 29th. Resto Druids, get ready, because we're getting a massive buff. Alright, let's just get into it. I'm going to go over the notes that Blizzard announced, and in the description of the video will be a link so that you can read the patch notes yourself. So for baseline, Resto Druids Efflorescence healing is increased by 15%. Life Bloom and Wild Growth mana cost reduced by 7%. That's pretty good for PvP and PvE. Now let's just get right into the PvP aspect. Now these specific changes that I'm going to tell you now only apply when you're engaged in PvP. They do not affect you in PvE. So for Restoration Druids, all the healing is increased by 10% when engaged in combat with enemy players. That is massive. If you guys remember back in the beginning of the expansion, we were actually nerfed by 10% in PvP. During the beginning of the first season, Rogue Mage Druid was incredibly strong, but after they nerfed Druids by 10%, it made it pretty tough for us, because not only did they nerf Druids by 10%, but in all of the following patches up to this point, almost every DPS class was buffed in some way. So this is a much needed change for Druids, because currently we're the worst healer. We're not good. We can make it work, but you have to try very hard, and in dampening, it's really rough for a Druid. So these changes are going to completely change everything for us. The second buff is for Focus Growth. Focus Growth PvP talent increases the healing of Life Bloom by 20%, was 15%, so they're buffing it by 5%. And they also reduced the mana cost by 20%, and it was previously 15%. That is another 5% buff on that talent. Overgrowth PvP talent mana reduced by 25%. That is a pretty good change. We mainly use Overgrowth versus Mage comps, so that when they Klepto the kill target, you can get all your hots back on. And it is pretty mana intensive right now, especially when you're in dampening. So that's a pretty good buff. Overall, this is very promising. I feel confident that this is going to push us back to top tier. We desperately needed this. Blizzard took note, and here we are, we're getting a buff. I was skimming through the notes. I really didn't see many other changes for other healers, so this is going to be a pretty significant advantage for us. On a side note, to my surprise, Destro Warlocks got a buff. Chaos Bolt damage increased by 15% when engaged in combat with enemy players. I don't think Destro Warlocks needed a buff, but hey, if you guys are playing a Warlock, I'm sure you're pretty excited. Or if your friend's a Warlock, let them know, because now they're going to not only one-shot you, they're going to overkill you when they one-shot you. But again, guys, this is a really big change for us. I look forward to this. This season, I do plan to make a pretty big push, and these buffs, they're just in time. I will have more content coming here in the near future, a lot more threes videos, twos videos. I'm currently testing out comps. I'm testing out Azurite pieces. I'm still bouncing around trying to figure out what the best Azurite pieces are, but now it's going to change with this buff, because some of our older Azurite traits might be better than the ones I was using now. But I'll get into that in another video when I make an updated guide video, probably sometime next month. I want to wait for this tuning to level out first. And again, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on the video, message me in game, on Twitter, on Twitch. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.